Hey guys, I am unable to come to school today. The first day of school. I don't like to miss first day of school, but I could make it because I had shoulder surgery end of July, and my doctor appointment was today. But I'll be here next week, hopefully. All right. Anyways, as you can see here, I'm gonna go over the syllabus. You can see right here my name, Mr. Aroso, 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 Mr. A, all fine. Kurt, not fine. Chief, boss, anything like that. Yo, no. Mr. A, Mr. Rosso, Mr. A Rosso. Any of those are fine, but no Kurt and no Chief. All right, so I'm gonna go over just some of this stuff. I'm not gonna course description. Feel free to read this because you're gonna sign it, and you can't be like if something happens, you can't be like, oh, I didn't know that was a rule. Well, it's in the syllabus, and there's also some other rules that are not in the syllabus. But anyways, all right. So this is what we're going to be learning. I'm going to highlight some things. I want you to highlight some stuff as well in this. You're going to turn it in. It is an assignment. It's 10 points. Not a big deal. At the end of the semester, 10 points won't be anything. But since it's our first assignment, everybody will either have an A plus or an F minus. There'll be no C's. All right, so first semester, first 9 weeks, atomic structure, that should be easy. Atoms are made of protons and neutrons. That's the nucleus. And then flying around, orbiting around the nucleus are the electrons. Periodic trends, that's kind of hard. This is the one we really need, though. Stoichiometry, that's where everybody in that unit gets an A plus 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 or an F minus 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 because either you know how to do it or you don't. It's kind of like math. If you know how to go through the steps to solve these things, it's not memorizing. You got to solve. You got to actually know a process to solve the problem. And we're gonna practice it a ton. So if you use class time wisely, you should get an A plus plus. If you don't, if you're playing video games, well, if you're playing video games, I'm gonna shut down your Chromebook and I'm gonna give you paper assignments. So that'll be the end of that. But if you're off task, it's gonna be tough. I'm gonna be honest with you. Second semester, what's hard, difficult? Gas laws, kind of difficult. Chemical equilibrium's kind of difficult. Yeah, but if you work hard, you're gonna get. For you A students, straight A students, you work hard, you're gonna get an A. For people that waste time, if you got a C last year in biology because you're wasting time, this year it's probably gonna be an F. I'm gonna be honest right from the start. Required classroom materials. I'm not gonna lecture all that much. Maybe some days I won't lecture at all. You'll have to learn it through our assignment, through our activities, like a lab, a virtual lab, a simulation. I'll have readings to learn it, videos, but I will lecture sometimes, but hardly ever will it be over 10 minutes. So, if you want, bring some paper, if you like to take your notes on paper. Some people like to type it, something to write with, obviously, pencil, pen. Definitely bring your Chromebook every day and a charger. I have like one, sometimes two chargers. I don't have a bunch. So if your Chromebook's dead, well, we do partner assignments. So you could work on one Chromebook, two names on the assignment, and you work on it together. And by working on it together, I mean you work on the entire thing together. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to play video games while you do page 1 and 2, and then we'll switch. You can play video games, and I'll do page 3 and 4. No. You work on page 1, 2, 3, and 4 together, the whole thing. One person's not watching Netflix and the other one works. No, that's not working together. And if you do it right, you can do it all year. You can do partner assignments for a lot of our assignments. But if you're doing it wrong, it'll last one time, and then you'll have to do it individually. Grade breakdown. Last year, if you had me in biology or anybody in biology, it was 40% for exams. This year, it's 50, so it's up a little bit. Look at classwork, homework, like our regular assignments are only 5%. So you're probably thinking, "Yay, I'm not going to do any of the homework." But if you don't do this 5%, since that's how we're learning this stuff, that's going to mean this 50% is going to take a hit. So if you don't do the 5, if you don't learn it from the activities we do in class, now this 50% of your grade, not going to be good because you got to do this in order to do well on this. And also our quizzes, which is 15%, labs 25%. Grading scale is basically the same as any teacher. 90.0 and above is an A. 89.9 is a B plus. B plus. We give so much extra credit. We allow retakes on exams or quizzes that you bomb. So we give you such an opportunity to keep your grade at a high level that when it comes to the end, we don't round it. We don't round it at all. I mean, 89.99, that's a B plus. Now you can come in and retake a quiz, the last quiz or the last exam that we took and see if you can get a higher score, and then that could raise your grade up. But we don't round, and we also don't give extra credit at the end of the grading period just to raise your grade. We'll give extra credit during the semester, but we're not going at the very end. We're not going to give a large project just to raise your grade. All right, let me make sure this video is actually working because I don't want to talk for an hour and then have to do it all over again. So I'll be right back. All right, it works. So I am back. All right, I'm just going to go over this page here. Remember, this is an assignment, so I want you to mark some stuff up. I want you to read it so you can mark up more stuff than I'm actually marking. All right, so if you had me in biology last year, remember, you could turn in assignments late. As long as you turned it in before we had our exam and went on to the next unit, you got 50%. Not in chemistry, sorry. So go ahead and highlight this so we know no late work is accepted. So once I grade it, if it's not in and you weren't absent with an excused absence, if you have an excused absence, you get extra time. But once I grade it, if you turn it in, you get 0. You get nothing. Probably a good idea to still do it because, like I said, that's how you learn the material. That's how you practice it. But no late work accepted. Now, the good news is if you don't waste time in class, you won't turn in anything late. If you're working hard, I'm going to give you enough time to complete it. If you're wasting time in class, it'll probably be due that night. But if you're working hard, I'll probably give you until the next class period, depending on how long the assignment is, to get it done. All right, so make sure you stay on top of your assignments. Don't procrastinate or waste time. Makeup work. I'm just going to go what I think's important. The extra credit. Let's see. Students will not be able. All right, so you can't get extra credit, not be able to replace missing work. So if you have missing assignments and you got zeros on them because you turned them in late or you didn't do them at all, that's it. It's a 0. You can't do extra credit to make them up. And you also, I said it earlier, you can't do extra credit to raise your grade at the end of the grading period. So you can't, your grade is a D at the end of the, can I get extra credit to raise it to a B? No. You can, like I said, you can retake the last exam or retake the last quiz we took. That can raise your grade. But other than that, a lot of people, they only care about their grade at the end of the semester. No one ever comes and asks me, hey, how can I get my grade up like in August or September, when the semester barely is just getting started. October, that's when we can do something about it. That's when we could raise it. Once there's like a week or two left in the semester, there's really nothing we can do anymore. So why keep an eye on your grade for the entire semester. Make sure it stays high in the A to B range. Don't let it get down in the C minus D F range. Participate. Yeah, I expect you to participate. I'm gonna, I'll call on people. I'll use my little randomizer. If it calls on your name, I'm expecting an answer. It may not be the right answer, but I'm expecting you to know what the question is, and give you your, best guess what the answer is. Respect everybody. Respect yourself, me, the classroom pets. We got fish, we got snakes, we got frogs, and we got a spider. So, respect everything. Respect other people's property. Do not cheat. Do not cheat, plagiarize, use AI, share answers. You can help others. Help other students cheat. Yeah, don't help them cheat. You can help them like on assignments, but you can't help them cheat. Cheating is a 0, and usually you get sent to the office with a referral. That's why on our exams, we time them. They're timed, and there's no cell phones, which I'm going to get to here in a second. And obviously, no going to Google and stuff like that. If you didn't study, just take your F on that one test. Do your best. Do some good test taking strategies. Make educated guesses. Mark off answers that are wrong, and just take a 25 to 50%. It's an F, but hey, at least you have integrity. You're not cheating. Responsibility. If you're missing something, check Aries. I have 150 students or something. I'm not going to know if you personally are missing an assignment. Or maybe you did it and I just forgot to put it in Aries. Well, that's up to you. You got to see that you're missing an assignment and come talk to me. All right, this is the big one. Technology. Let's see. Devices are only used for academic work. So if you're using your device, your Chromebook, for video games, for YouTube, unless it's like a YouTube educational video that I'm like assigning, or like you're watching Netflix, you're not going to use your computer, you'll get paper assignments. That's not like a punishment. That's to help you out, because if your Chromebook, all it is a distraction for you, then you don't need it. We don't need distractions. We got enough. We got a bunch. Students are distractions. There's all kinds of distractions. We don't need the Chromebook distracting you from getting a good grade. Chromebooks and testing. I don't need that. Cell phones. During tests. Now, cell phones, we're going to have a cell phone box. Cell phones need to be in the box every single day. Now, if you need to use your cell phone, say like you need to text your mom, and say, "Hey, mom, practice is canceled." All you have to do is ask me. Say, "Hey, can I text my mom real quick?" I'm going to ask, "Where's your cell phone?" If the answer is in the box, I'm going to say, "Go for it. Go ahead and text your mom. Tell her practice is canceled." If your cell phone is in your pocket, sorry. I mean, you can text your mom, but then once you're done with it, the cell phone's coming to me. And at the end of class, it has to go to the office because we're not messing with the cell phones this year. They're going to be in the box. But here's the big one: on test day, if it's a test or a quiz, your cell phone goes in the box. You will have your own specific slot. So if your last name starts with A, you're probably going to be number one. If your last name starts with Z, you're going to be like number 35, the last of the students. And I'm going to know, I'm going to take a picture of the box chick, chick, during the test. So I'm going to know whose cell phones are in there and who's not. If you don't have a cell phone, obviously it won't be in the box. So you don't have one. But if it's not in the box and sometime during the day, even after the test, I see you with a cell phone, if it's sticking out of the back of your pocket, if I see a little rectangle in your pocket that looks like a cell phone, this is what happens. You get an automatic 0 on the exam. Now, this is for all chemistry teachers, so don't go running to your counselor and like, "Hey, I want to trade to Porsche's or Smith's class." No, they do the same thing. It's all chemistry. And you also get a referral to the AP because since you have your phone, we're assuming that you're cheating. Now, why else do you need your phone? It's to cheat. So especially on test days, make sure it is in the box. And then another big one is the restroom. Only one student may be out of the classroom at a time. One, not two, not three, not four. One. And 15 minutes, that's your time limit. 15 minutes. After that, well, let me do this and I'll explain that. Each student, you only get 3 restroom passes per month. So for August, you're going to get 3. So, maybe by week number 2, you've already gone 3 times, you're out. If you go for longer than 15 minutes, depending on how long, if it's like 18 minutes, it's going to count for 2. If you're gone like 30, 40 minutes, it's going to count for all 3. Now, like 5th period chemistry last year, nobody ever went to the bathroom. So I never really, I mean, they did every now and then, like maybe one person a day and sometimes 0. So I didn't really even keep track of it that much. 7th period, it'd be the same people wanted to go to the bathroom every single day. We'd have a line of like 7 people like, "Hey, Russell, can I go to the bathroom?" Well, you're after John, and then it's Fred, and then it's Sally, and then it's Michelle, and then it's Jennifer, and then it's Nicole, and then it's your turn. Are they really going to the bathroom? No, they're not. They're just wandering around campus, dee 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 dee. So if you're gonna just want to get out of class just to wander around, fine. You can do it 3 times a month for 15 minutes, then you're done. What? Oh yeah, and the bathroom you'll see when you get here. This is where you're going to need your cell phone. You can also use your computer. There's a sign out sheet on the door. It's got a QR code. You scan it. It's going to take you to a Google form. It's like 2 questions, like you're checking out and what period are you in. That's it. And boom, it's going to send me and then it keeps track of you. And then once you reach your 3 for the month, it's going to highlight you as red. So next time you ask, I'm going to know, nope, you're out. If you forget to scan it, once again, if I'll scan it for you, but then I'm going to scan it for 3 and you'll be out. So don't forget to scan it when you leave and when you come back. And that's basically it. Now the lab safety regulations, I'm not going to read all 46 of these. Basically this comes down, here's one, like assume that things are hot. Assume that things are super hot. So if it's like a hot plate, assume that it's hot. Assume that it's on. So don't just grab it. Check it first. Like kind of wave your hand over it. I'll go over some of this stuff. We'll also be using Bunsen burners, which is fire. So it's basically all these 46. Follow directions. Read the directions. Don't eat or drink in lab, and don't goof around. That's it. That's basically all these 46 come down to. Don't goof around and just follow the directions. And then once we're going to do this next week, so don't be signing this yet because I'm going to go over these things, and then I'm going to go over like, hey, how do you put on an apron and a glove? You probably know how to do that, but once you do, we're going to check them off. We're going to put check. Yay, I learned how to put on an apron and glove. I'm going to teach you how to use eye protective goggles. So we're going to check all these off next week, and then if you wear contact lenses, you're going to want to check this box right here, and then you're going to sign it. Your signature and date, parent signature, and emergency contact number and date. And then you're going to sign it again. So the first one is that you read over the lab safety stuff. So read all those. And the second one is that it's your contract that you're going to go over, that you're going to abide by the class rules and the syllabus, everything that's in the syllabus. All right, so this will be an assignment. So next week we'll start. Hopefully, some of these will start getting turned in on Google Classroom. All right, so make sure that you have yours highlighted. We'll go over this stuff next week, and then hopefully next week they start coming in, and hopefully I'm here next week. All right, have a good weekend. See you next week.